Hi guys, Thomas here, and today I have decided to kind of do a little bit of a first episode of my brand new series that will be taking a part on the YouTube. This is of course the part of my vlogs, and a couple of these will be going to get released. Today I've decided to take myself outside and just film little stuff here. This is of course the grassland and cars and a bunch of different things right here. You can kind of see the everything that just started to walking like that. Today, in this very first episode of the Thomas's tours around his city, or in this case around his country, if I decide to kind of call this one, is that I'm going to be showing you my childhood home, childhood parts, and childhood place where I used to live. And in this video, I'm going to show that and just going to walk around direction that way. I'm going to walk around like that. So as I just wanted to walk in, just do the whole camera. First things first, you're gonna notice that it is of course a really long pathway and just ends up here. Now, when I was born, around the time when I was born, this huge building in front of me was not built, and basically when it was not built, it used to be a huge building site that was there for the very long part and very long time. And as I just walk in close enough, you can see that the orange place in front of me is, of course, what appears to be my old home and the old street and whatnot, and old home and my old street and whatnot. And this, of course, what appears to be a part of a really good city site. I will walk around towards here and just to walk around to get it to working to do it this way. And you can see that the construction is overall really here. If I just zoom in on that, you can just see. But I'll keep that as is. So this, of course, the construction site. If I just walk a couple things longer, you can just see that. It just goes to an arc, then just ends up looking over here. This, of course, a new house that was built, and you can just see that it is really amazing. And just right now, it just right now does go towards it. I just was wanting to see that guy over there just scared me. Crap. But anyhow, this, of course, a new block of house that was built, and you can just see that it is a new and modern compared to my old house. Not my old house. Yes, compared to both my old house and my current house. And you can just see that people are living inside, and it's really modern. It does not have a name, a specific street name like mine does. So there's just that. And if you're just walking closer to it, you can see that appears to be a specific store that has a sign in it, and you can see that it is, of course, considered for the workers only, and of course some couple spacing around. And once you walk in towards this way around here, you can just see that there's a bunch of different stores and, of course, a new house. But I wanted to give you a closer look into how this works, how this looks, and basically over here, uh, you can see that still there's of course all this workings around, and you can just see how this house looks really cool, really well, and pretty much, pretty much overall, it just works. It just looks really cool. There's of course the back side of not my house, but the near house to mine, and that is actually that way from my house. It is not near, not not this way. Not this way. You can see that it's further, and it is the right way. I've went left side to that, and you can just see the people walking around through there, just taking their pets. And I used to have a pet, honestly, but we just gave it away because for personal problems. But unfortunately, the pet is no longer with us. So only from what I can see is that there are lots of different pets all around here. So as I was just saying, this was of course a huge construction. They were of course planning to build tons of houses, and one fun fact is that even though as appears to be these houses are not built yet, they're going to be built. I think by the end of this decade they will be probably built. My guess would be this decade is actually 2020s. And basically, once you walk in and just see this will be of course another houses. Over here, there's of course a railway. There's of course a rails. You cannot see the rails currently. They're currently very well, but you can just sort of expect that there are rails based on these connecting things right there. But you can kind of expect that to work into it. Work into it. So there are just the connecting things with the rails themselves, and basically there's a railway station and stationings. I just wanted to get that close up. There's of course a garage and a couple people walking around, and here are of course a couple of other parts of it. But my tour is that we are going to walking straight this way and walking straight this direction. And as you can see, there are a couple of stores. I want to get that I'm going to get that ditch up here. There are just a couple of stores, and as you can see, there are of course a couple of doors where we can actually see the spaces where people do live. So as you can see right here, this is of course new house, and it appears that there are some people who may live inside there at the time of this recording, this video, that is. So basically, after dozens of walks, you've ended up entering this part right here, where you can see that where you can see the pizza store, the pizza store, and personally the pizza store. I have never actually been here and just never tasted the pizza. But you can see that there's a pizza store around here. I just gonna walk around in here a little bit, and as you can see, there's a kind of a cool statue. This is of course the front door where you can enter the pizza store itself. And there's of course another store which appears to be taking food inside. This will be, of course, the food store, one of many near us. I think this is actually the third that they are going to make. There's, of course, a bio food store over there. There's, of course, Delia near my home, and there's, of course, a raspberry, or however that is called, also near my home. So, as you're walking right here, you can just see that that here are, of course, some statues of some nice men. I don't know who they are, but it appears to be that this statue is made up of a pretty cool pretty cool pretty cool metal, and appears to be, when I just walk in here, that these three men are, of course, the big deceased at this time comedians and deceased large men. And I did not notice that we officially had a statue of these three people. These two on the left, this one on the right side and the left side are, of course, the larger and two of the most known, while this one in the middle is, of course, least known from these, and this one seems to be a duo. This one right here died at 81, and he was, of course, a great comedian and very good showman, who, of course, outlived these two, and his name is Milan Lasica, and this one is, of course, supposed to be a Julius Satinsky, who, of course, if you remember correctly, if you happen to be a spaceman, there is, of course, a planet or asteroid or something named after him. And this one in the middle is, of course, deceased as well. And this one died the earliest in the year of 2000 at age of 51. Died the youngest, and his name is, of course, Jaromir Philip, or Yaroslav Philip. I'm not so sure, but I believe that he's Yaroslav rather than Jaromir. So there, of course, this huge statue is actually about them. Yaroslav Philip is, of course, being of course, a musician and actor at the same time. While this one, while Julius Satinsky and both Julius Satinsky and Milan Lasica are not. I'm actually making a Tom's discussion series someday, and I will be actually discussing about these great people of our country. So basically, here is another store called some kind of a dental store. This, of course, the door that comes into it, and we are entering what appears to be before then. This was just this whole part. This was actually built years into making, and this is, of course, the street where I used to live in for most of my childhood now, but mostly into my adulthood or into my later years of puberty, I used to live right up there, as you can see. And that orange house right there. So this is, of course, rather old. I think this is something that I have never seen before. I think it was rather to this extent, and there's just where that ended. And moving on a little bit forward, you can see that there's a cat. Not so sure, as you can see. That looks odd. But there's a cat right here, just wandering off. It just walked in. There it is. It's caught in the camera. There it is, a cat. So there is, of course, this really interesting part. This, of course, where I used to live in, and when I was younger, there was of course supposed to be a kids' place, where we used to do our kiddie things and used to play a lot. And it appears to be this building right here before they decided to turn it into a store, as you can see right there. This place right here sells lots of meat, and of course the lots of butcher is done. Here, of course, sells lots of meat. There is of course a local candy store. We're gonna call that a candy store. This one, of course, sells a lots of different meat, and as you can see right here, there appears to be cancelled. And here is of course a cat. I'm not usually into this, but this cat is really cute. Really, just allows us to walk in a little bit. So this cat was asleep while I'm just gonna. It appears to be open. I was just sorry to say that store is closed. And yeah, this cat is really, really cute. Really, just adorable. Really, just adorable little cat. And as you can see, it's really playful. And of course it likes me a lot. It likes to play out a little bit. I think she's more of a hungry cat, rather than hungry and sleepy, because there's of course a hot weather. And this cat, of course, is, I think, a local cat, possibly belonging to the store. But yes, it just likes to be haggled with. There, of course, is his water. And I'm gonna say goodbye to this cat. Goodbye. And move along. So, as I just move along, I'm gonna tie my shoelace a little bit. I'm just not wanna do this bit, but unfortunately I have to. So I'm gonna close that up, right? I'm sorry, but it's rather impossible to do it with just one hand. But after a commercial break, I'll be back to deal with it. And continuing on while yes. So, after I've tied my shoelaces, as I promised, I'm going to continue on and move along to focus on with another part. So as I just walking closer and near, this of course our childhood home, childhood house, my childhood house, that is. And there's of course a disco, not a disco. There's of course a yoga center. I used to went there when I was a kid, but they actually kicked me because of doing some nonsense things, and they decided to do it only for adults, because kids are more of a playful beings than adults. Adults are more responsible than we kids are. The kids are, that is. And doing a couple of the footages here, and just wanted to pause this a bit, is that as you can see there is of course a noise being done. Rather really interestingly, but I'm going to move on to the another part of this. So, as I walk in and just move on, here is of course my very first home. I do not have a lot of memories and remember a lot of things about this house, about this building, but as I just walk in here is of course some kind of a pathway. and I just want to walk in closely. Here's of course the older house, and we used to have a garage that was actually this building right here. As you can see, the garage is a bit old, and it really looks really old. But it's rather really nice that we can see. There's just a lot of different things and a whole bunch of different things, as you can see. I went in here just a little bit. Here, of course, a couple of birds, or just one of the birds. And while we used to take our car from this garage, take it out of it, and in there, we used to look for some bugs, in this place. There are just not a whole lot of bugs currently, or I think they are not used to be. But you can see that this building right here, as you can see, this is just a railway that I was talking about. So as you can see, this is just rather old, and old things are of course painted with graffiti, and I'm just kind of collided to the point of showing you this, but it is rather cool to see, and for the most part, this is of course the backyard of this. I will gonna move myself out of here, and I'll go that way to explore that part right there, and you can just see that there is of course a playground where we used to play as a kid, and when I used to play as a kid, and meet new friends. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. I'm not going to go inside the playground, but it's owned by the nearby pub, or bar if you want to call that, however you want to call that. But I think it's pub. There is of course a local casino, a school, a playgroup, or nearby playgroup, or kindergarten, if you want to call that. And I'm just going to show you so you can see it for yourself. Pause it. I'm just going to show you and just going to walk into it so you can see it for yourself. And you can see there's a lot of dandelions. No, this is not the dandelion. That's something else. I misspoke. I have to look it up after myself arriving home. So you can just see that is actually owned, or a part of the local house here. There's of course lots of different buildings. There's of course once again a couple of local noise outside, motorcycles. And whatnot. As I just forgot to tell you, that near my home is of course a deli store, but here is of course another deli store, and as you can see, I think it's closed, but I might be wrong about that. So I'm just going to show you. Once again, there's another house with possibly people inside. And it just might seem weird because I caught some people on camera. I tried to do zero interactions with them whatsoever. So this deli store is open. Yeah, the store might be open because there of course appears to be the opening sign showing us when it is open from. Here, as you can see, it's a local sports clothing store that sells lots of different sport-related things. And as you can see, it of course appears to be possibly closed, but I might be wrong about that. There's of course a place or door to another house, and it appears to be rather old. Rather old in there. Rather old in there. There's, of course, that part right there. And this appears to be closed. From my consideration, this is, of course, global finance. Financial situations. So, as I just walk in here a little bit, there's, of course, that global finance that is actually beneath the houses, because this, of course, a non-house spacing where people do not live. They, of course, had that spacing. There's, of course, some. It appears that there are some toilets in there. And as I just mentioned earlier, here is, of course, that garage place where it actually ended. You can just see, but I have took it so you can see it properly. So here's just that for reference. I'm just gonna walk in closely a little bit to see the interesting part about this location for whatsoever. And possibly it could be this right there. I'm just really excited to just kind of show you that. Just walking closer. I have no idea what that might be and what that is. But I'm gonna walk in just a little bit here, and just gonna walking just straight up. And most importantly, there's some other people around here. You can just see there are some homeless men taking their looks, and here as I just walk in, there are, of course, some really interesting things. This one, of course, has spelled private area, or possibly like that. So, just to mention it, there are some couple things to just show you that, and obviously I'm gonna walk in straight here. There are, of course, some old, possibly socialists owning this place. They do own that. There is, of course, that old. There's some dog, kind of, digging up a hole, and with its owner. There is. I have never actually been here and never actually seen this place. You can just see that this is really old, and possibly really new. You can just see that this is something that I have never ever expected possibly. And a couple things around the look to furthermore show you how this exactly works. I'm just trying to get